You are live. Oops.
Hey.
Hey, everybody.
Okay. And you are now live, it says.
Wow.
We did it. We are now live. We did it.
Yeah, I see myself. Hey guys, what's up? So, welcome back to our bi-weekly live event. For you guys who don't know me, I'm Pascal Corcus, and I teach finance, investing, go over economics, taxes, and this is Hannah. Hannah is our social media manager, and today's a little special because she's going to be asking us.
This doesn't go down.
It does go, yeah, it doesn't go down. I don't think it goes
Because today
down.
I'll be taller than you.
Yes. She's vertically challenged, but we love her anyway. So today we're going to be we're doing things a little bit differently. Anna has a lot of awesome questions that I feel that a lot of people can benefit from. So she's going to be interviewing me, asking all the questions that a lot of the research that she's been doing has found common questions that you guys are asking. So it should be a really great event today. Get a lot of your great questions answered and try to provide you guys as much value as possible because we really want to see you guys succeed. So, yeah, how are you doing today?
Good. I'm excited. Always a pleasure to pick your brain, just because that's how we learn. We ask what we don't know, and even if we think we know something, we still ask somebody who's experiencing that. So, first and foremost, I wanted to start with just you introducing yourself, just because I have seen that there are new followers here, and then as well as maybe reintroduce yourself to the people that have been awesome, loyal people supporting you. I guess let me start with this first. Let's see. Okay, so what is your origin story, so to speak? Like, how did this all start for you?
So,
Just for one.
Different, like it was not like it kind of fell together. Like, so I came here when I was like 3 years old to America and grew up what I would have thought was a normal childhood, which I find now it's not. It's like kind of like the foreign childhood. I lived in a really rough neighborhood. Started working when I was like 8. I would sweep hair, go to the store for the barber, clean his car, do like random stuff for money. And I would use that money to buy myself video games and comic books and baseball cards. Because if I wanted something, I had to pay for it myself. We didn't really have the money for that type of stuff. Then I started like learning how to like collect and trade. So then I would be able to get more stuff. So it's not just off of the money I was making to get the other items that I wanted, right? Same thing all kids want. Video games, comic books, cards.
Yeah.
And then I started getting pretty good at that and started trading Pokemon cards when I was like older. And made a lot of money doing that.
Right.
So I actually still have a lot of them in my safe there. Then I started learning about real estate when I was 14, and I realized you don't gotta sell something to make money. You can like let someone borrow your stuff and you get paid. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I thought like most of these properties were owned by big companies or governments, and then I found out no, like people own these buildings, and I was like, that was mind blowing. And then, in fact, you only have to put down 20% or less, and the government would put down the rest. That also was mind blowing. So people will borrow it from you, pay you, and then you have a mortgage that the government pays 80% of it to buy it, and you get all the profit. It's like it's too good to be true. Like, and like if people can do this, why would you do it just once? Why would you do it 1,000 times?
Well, I guess connect the dots for me. So little Pascal was sweeping hair at the barbershop, and you were what? You said 8, 9 at the time?
I was 8 years old when I started. Yeah.
When did it click for you? Did someone tell you about real estate? Did you learn from you know,
So I learned little tricks along the way, right?
because back then there was no Google, there was no YouTube.
No, I mean, even when I bought I owned 23 units by the age of 23.
Yeah.
There wasn't like Zillow.
Yeah.
There wasn't an online system now where you literally have all the data provided to you.
True.
So you didn't have that. The Pinellas County properties or property appraisers across the country weren't online. You couldn't do research like you could do today.
Yeah.
I mean, so when I first started, I first obviously worked, you get money, you buy your stuff. Then I realized you can only work so many hours in a day, right? I had school. So if I wanted something, I had to find a better way to get it. So I started trading, bartering. So then I started collecting. Then I started like trading up.
Yeah.
Those are skills that you really should have, even if you're talking about stuff that are a couple of dollars or pennies. That skill set, Gary Vee does this, right? The skill set that he has in bartering and negotiating at a garage sale
Mm-hmm.
in New Jersey, and I grew up in New Jersey too. Those skills, they're the same skills that you would use to do $1 billion transaction. Now, obviously, you're honing your skills, but you would actually be surprised. A lot of people you're negotiating with are actually not that great of a negotiator at the higher level. Some are very good, but others have other skill set, and negotiating is not one of them. So if you have that skill and you've learned it from a young age and honed it as your way up, it really is beneficial. So I started gaining little skills along the way that I compiled to improve.
Yeah.
So then I realized, hey, after that point, you had to get rid of my stuff. I had to sell my stuff. And I'm a collector. I didn't want to sell stuff. So then when I realized, or when I learned at 14, you can own real estate and the government will give you 80% of the money.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone else will pay you to borrow it. And you're making the spread.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, someone was going to pay you to borrow my stuff.
Did you learn that from someone? Or?
So I learned it first from my uncle.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he was buying condos.
Okay.
And I also learned you should not buy condos. Like, it's not the best way to do it.
Okay.
And then from there, I spent 5 years learning credit, tax returns, how to qualify for a mortgage, what do they look at, and cash flow. Just studied everything I could, found a bunch of different mentors, worked for them for free, and accumulated that knowledge. And then when I was 19, I bought my first duplex.
I like that you said that. You accumulated that knowledge, and then from there you did a call to action. You didn't just absorb all of this information and then just be like, someday I'm going to do it. You just were like, that's it. I'm just going to go for it.
Well, at 16, I saved up enough money to put down on this property. It was about $50,000.
Wow.
But my dad had to co-sign, and he wouldn't.
Oh.
So I could have done it at 16. So I did try. So don't get me wrong. It's not like I sat back and just didn't do anything.
Right.
I tried.
Right.
And it just didn't work. And it bummed me out. And then kind of took a step back. And then I was like, I'm going to try again. And it didn't work, and step back. And it just, that kind of thing where I kept trying.
Yeah.
And when I didn't succeed, I don't want to call it failure, but I didn't succeed.
Right.
But I didn't quit. So that was really kind of like one thing that, since I really grew up with not a lot and really rough, that I was able to get the skin, the tough skin, to say, you know what, I'm going to try. And if I fail, I'm right back where I was.
Yeah.
I didn't go any further. I'm already on the bottom. And that's kind of one of the blessings that I tell people that are like at the bottom.
Yeah.
You're already at the bottom. You might as well try. You ain't getting much further than this. You know? So,
you can only go up from here.
you only go up from here, right? You ain't losing it,
Yeah.
And at 16, I started investing in stocks. And again, this is literally, I was getting a newspaper to look at the stock prices.
Jeez.
Because it wasn't online. You didn't really have that ability.
Yeah.
And, it was, again, we're talking about 2000.
Yeah.
Right? You had dial-up internet. It took me 20 minutes to log into
there was a
AOL
whole
email.
Y2K possible crash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to log on. It's took me 4 hours to just look at something. It's
Yes.
all right, open up the newspaper. So,
That's
I'll
awesome.
do that.
Yeah. And then someone commented, still at the bottom mindset. That's good.
So, there's a mindset where it's healthy
Yeah.
to kind of think that way in some aspects, but it's not healthy in other aspects where you're having limited beliefs. That's really kind of like really want to get rid of your limiting beliefs
Right.
and just say, hey, I'm going to take this risk.
Yeah.
And if you take smart risks, they're really very limited. People are afraid of what I invest in and get millions of dollars in loan to buy these huge properties. For me, it's not a risk. Like, I've done enough calculations and then, for sure that we're going to succeed. And the question comes to is like, how much are we going to make? Like, I think we're going to make this much, but we could make even more.
Right.
So it's not like, oh, are we going to make any money? That's called speculating. That's not investing.
Right. I think what they mean probably with still at the bottom mindset is like always room for growth.
Yeah, that's a good way to think.
Okay, so now you are where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess let's talk to the people and let's say out of I think you said you've been in here about almost 25 years in the business of real estate and investing. And then you have actually grown into different businesses. So I know like we could say you're a serial entrepreneur. What are those businesses now? Starting again, when you first bought your property at 19, you then were, technically a real estate investor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where are we at with you?
So at 19, I started working at the bank around like 18, 19 years old. And I saved up all my money. Even when I was a kid and the Pokemon cards, I made a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I saved all that money. So I had like $32,000 by the time I was 19.
Yeah.
Saved up. And just, again, my whole life, just investing and saving and scraping it together, right? So I learned the banking system. Like within 15 months, I went from part-time teller to senior personal banker doing loans.
Yeah.
This
was while you were in college too, for accounting?
Yes.
Okay.
I was going for college for finance, actually.
Oh, for finance.
And I did really well at the bank, but I didn't like how they always wanted me to sell more.
Mm.
And in that process, it was very helpful though, because I did learn the mortgage business very well. And that helped me scale very fast because I learned taxes very well and I learned mortgages very well. And if you know both very well, if you have professionals that are very good at both, you can scale from, again, I had a duplex at 19. I had 23 units by the age of 23, and I rolled the same $30,000 to build that up. It was $30,000. I rolled into $3 million worth of real estate because I understood the tax game and I understood the mortgage game. And most people will think taxes and mortgages is math. It is math, but it's really law for numbers. It's law for tax. So you can be great at math and be horrible at accounting and tax preparation or mortgages, because just because you can add doesn't mean you understand what the question implies.
What do you mean by that? Like, what's an example, for instance?
So I had a guy that did his own taxes, and they had me review it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I reviewed it, he should have received $4,000 in a refund. And he did his own taxes. And
he ended up doing his own taxes? Yeah,
he ended up doing his own taxes. It was like a friend's friend.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll look at it. We're hanging out and whatever. And I'm like, you only got $1,000. And I'm like, so then I went over the details of like, well, what did you do? And then I realized he didn't get as much credits as he should have received. So I went through and I asked him some questions, and I realized, so the question on the tax form that he made a mistake on, it was, how many months was the child living with you in the United States? And he just had a baby December of that year, of the prior year. So he put down 1 month, which is mathematically correct. Yeah. He lived, the baby was 1 month with him.
The end of the month, December, 1 month.
Yeah, end of the year, it's 1 month, right?
Yeah.
Right. The thing is, the question is, how many months did they live with you? But you're supposed to round up for that answer. So if the child was born in December, you're supposed to put 12 months, not 1 month.
According to tax law.
Yeah, the rules.
Yeah, the rules.
So because when the child turns 18 in December, he doesn't get the credit of a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Once they're 18, they lose the family loses certain credits.
Yeah.
So it's gone.
Yeah.
Because you got it when he was born.
Yeah.
Or it was a he, but when he was born. So just because you're mathematically correct doesn't mean you're setting it up properly to get all the benefits from all the tax rules, right? It's most people don't. It's not that people can't do the math.
Yeah.
It's people don't know the rules.
I see.
And I spent 20 years to learn all these rules, and they go and even the IRS says that a majority of people are leaving money on the table. They're either paying too much tax or not getting enough refund because they don't know the rules. You're overpaying.
That's awesome.
So I opened up an accounting firm, basically. The reason was I was tired of the bank having me sell stuff that I didn't feel was worth it and it kept on pushing me.
Right.
And I didn't like that. So I went to school for finance and I got a minor in mathematics.
Okay.
Then I switched it for accounting,
Okay.
minor in economics and international business.
Oh,
so
nice.
I took basically every single business class they had. I took almost every single one. I left with like over 200 credit hours.
Oh, nice.
With all the different finance classes.
That is what we call an overachiever. And then, so you graduated, you have your degrees, you worked at a bank, and then from there you started getting into real estate investing. You had 23 units by 23.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that, really quick?
So I had my accounting firm as well. I was like doing taxes and bookkeeping. And then around 23, the real estate market tanked.
Oh, that was 08.
That was 08.
Okay.
So, and where I'll draw to now compared to 08, people are like, oh, look, everything's going to be like 08 again. I said, the issue in 08 wasn't the foreclosures. The issue in 08 was the banking crisis. People couldn't get loans.
Okay.
And roughly prior to these current years, roughly 70% of all properties are purchased with debt. So if you can't get debt, that means they're not being sold. So then it becomes a fire sale. Currently, we have such limited quantity of homes available. That's one. But two, we don't have a banking crisis yet. So we really would have to have that to see anything close to what happened in 08.
As in real estate pricing drop.
Like, yeah, for home, because again, if the debt goes away.
Yeah.
But again, if you think about it, since 08, the lending requirements have been so strict that the caliber of buyer is a lot higher. And the last 2 years, 40% of all the properties in Florida have been almost 40%, maybe 38, but a significant number were cash. So they're not going to give up their house unless someone died. Like if the person passed away, then yes, the family might sell it at a discount for that. But otherwise, the factors to make it happen, right? Like there's no negative AM loans. Even if housing prices drop, they're going to look at the monthly payment.
Oh.
Right? The monthly payment is going to be like, say, $2,000 a month. Well, if housing prices drop significantly, it really would be because of the lending. What happened would be likely that, say, interest rates went to 5%. Well, then now anyone that's buying a home, most people look at what is my payment.
Right.
So now on a $2,000 payment at 5%, it's a lower purchase price. So maybe you're going to have the issue with people deciding, all right, I'm not going to sell my house and move out because if I get another property, I'm going to get something smaller for the same payment.
I see.
So in reality, I don't see people giving up their homes in that situation. They're just going to be like, okay, I'm going to stick it out. I am upside down, but my payment is still better than the rent. My payment is still lower than the rent.
You're jumping to my next questions.
So I'm reading your mind.
I know, bro. I know. Okay, so let's move on now. So right now you have, I just wanted to, because I know you, you have a construction company now, you have a mortgage brokerage now, and then as well as your tax and insurance agency, and then your investment funds.
Yes.
Okay. So you grew from that little basket house sleeping here at a barber shop, trading Pokemon cards, and then to this now, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is the key factor? Just one key factor from all of that.
Like, just enjoy what you're doing.
Okay.
And you're just gonna want to keep asking questions. And if you keep on asking questions, the why, the how, who, what, where, why, how, you're gonna eventually just get a concept. And in the conversation a second ago, right, I just flowed through and you're like, oh, you came to my next question. Because if you kind of flow through that process with anything you're doing, you're going to come to like, okay, well, if this, that means if this, then this.
Yeah.
Then if that's true, then what do we do in this situation?
Right.
Then you would do this. And you start flowing through those scenarios, and by the time you're done, you didn't even need to own any property. You already know the variables and the likely scenarios, and you can ask, well, oh wow, this happened to you. What are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna end up doing this. I'm gonna do that. Oh man, the tenant didn't pay rent. What are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I mean, it was not easy because when I felt like as a Christian, I felt very uncomfortable evicting someone that didn't pay me rent.
Yeah.
So I literally went to like multiple priests and religious people in my life, and to say like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And where I got their feedback and understanding and found a humanitarian way
Mm-hmm.
to try to help people
Right.
that are willing to be helped.
Yeah.
And along the way, you find out there's some people that just don't want to be helped, and
Yeah.
you can't help them until they're ready to be helped. And sometimes the rough times
Very true.
helps them realize certain things. So again, it's not. But again, my home market has changed. Like even during COVID, I didn't have one eviction.
Yeah.
Just because of the way I switched things, and I learned along the way.
Right. So my next question then would be, in this space now,
Mm-hmm.
you're making yourself available to all these people. What is the reasoning behind that? Because you don't get paid to do this. So, I'm here asking questions because I can't afford to pay you an hour. Or maybe I just don't want to because I know I can learn. But why do you do this? Why do you take the time? Because I know how crazy busy you are, and also you just had a newborn baby.
So as you know, I'm always talking about this stuff. Like,
That's true.
it is it's part of who I am. It's what I think is awesome and amazing. Investing, economics is like just.
I will say
so
how
cool.
true that is because I was looking for Pascal today. We had a meeting. It's here in his home, his office here, and his wife and I were looking for him. And we find him talking about gold or investing to the nanny. And I'm like, this is the most weirdest thing. I was like, what?
So it actually was the conversation was based off of I buy a ton of vitamins at a time, and
Okay.
the vitamins I buy are really high quality, so they're it costs a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I buy a large quantity at one time,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, "Oh, this is interesting." I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "If you have your money in the bank, you're getting not even 1%, but the cost of vitamins go up 5-10%, sometimes in a half a year or a year period."
Mm-hmm.
And now today with hyperinflation, they're going
Yeah.
up 30%. So I'm like, even though I bought a whole bunch of products, I'm like, I don't want to spend that much money
Yeah.
because I'm spending too much.
Yeah.
No, buy the biggest bottle possible because it's the cheapest. And in addition to that, you're getting it on today's price.
Yeah.
It's going to be worth so much more down the road.
That is fact. Okay, I just want to
That's
say that's
inflation.
fact.
It is a fact. I mean, so you're
Yes.
basically making money on yourself. So one thing that people have to understand is that cash is trash. So don't be like, I want to accumulate cash. Our American dollar is a fiat currency, which means it is not backed by anything, and it's also a debt-based currency. That means they put a loan out to make the dollar. Every dollar out there, there's a loan against it, and you're paying the interest through inflation.
Right.
So you know it's going to be worth less. So why would you keep it in the bank that's not giving you anything for it anyway? Trade it right away for still a good that is
That's
worth
true.
something.
I want to say how true that is because I'm a mom and a wife, and it's my, for me, I love shopping, obviously. And I'm in charge of getting the goods for the home. So toilet paper and all that jazz. So, last year, that whole toilet paper crisis, I saw the price at Costco. It was like $16 or 15, I can't remember. I think it was like 16 for this huge pack.
Yeah,
so
huge.
I bought, finally when, it came to supply, I was like, bro, I know I need this. So I bought it, and I only bought one pack because I was like, this is a lot of toilet paper. It lasted us 6 months, okay? So now I shop for more toilet paper, and then I stopped going to Costco, so I was like, oh, okay, toilet paper's back again, so I can just go to Walmart or Publix, whatever. Publix is awesome if you live in Florida, by the way. Shout out to Publix. So now I go to Costco, same price, but the toilet paper is less because it only lasts us 2 months instead of 6 months.
So yeah, so there's a thing that so the answer is yes, you are 100% correct, and also since you want to hold stuff that's it's not going to go bad.
Yeah.
So every time I go to Costco, I also have the biggest thing I look at is return on time now.
Yes.
If you start accepting return on time,
That's so true.
it's so important. So if I go to Costco or if I go to Sam's Club, I make sure the truck is full. The
Yes.
SUV is full.
You only got to go there once every 2 months or so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And if I have space, before COVID,
Yeah.
I would buy an extra roll of toilet paper.
Okay.
Because I said, hey, we're gonna need it.
Yeah.
I have Airbnbs, I have offices, I have the house. I'm gonna buy an extra one because there's extra space. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I had 6 months of not needing toilet paper at my house, in the office, and in the properties because of how much I saved up. We didn't have to go freak out like, oh, there's no toilet paper out there,
Right.
And so that's also, again, there's a value to that.
Yes.
If you have money, it's
There's
good
a value to
nothing.
toilet paper.
There you go. There's yeah. It's so. But what you're saying, the funny thing is like
Yes.
What they're doing is they're hiding inflation by reducing the size of everything you're buying. So what you're going to notice is maybe the price isn't higher, but the amount that you're getting is less. So that's how they're hiding the inflation, so you don't have a sticker shock.
Yeah, that's actually true. And actually, talking about pricing, you and I had this conversation, and maybe the people ought to know too. So again, I'm an avid.
We have some awesome conversations
Yes.
that never get recorded. I'm like, you should have recorded this at least twice a day. I say that.
Okay, so really quick,
Yeah.
in regards to inflation,
Mhm.
right? That's also a topic that we're going to deep dive into for just like a few minutes, but real quick. So chicken, I told you, like the whole hot wings crisis. I went to a restaurant and the waitress was like, oh yeah, hot wings is on shortage right now. I was like, is this really a fact? Because I go to Publix, at least once or twice a week and order hot wings from there, and it's still the same price and I still get the same amount and there's no shortage. It's always around. And then you said this to me because I was like, wait a minute, yeah, because steak at Publix is still the same price when it's on sale. But then also at regular price, it's still the same too. Other places have heightened it, and I think it's because of what you told me, but specifically at this grocery store, prices for meat hasn't really changed. Why?
So, my brother has a grocery store, and he's like, I see myself as more of a modern financial individual. I love the financial system we have in America. We have a lot of bad things that need to be fixed, but it is still good if you use it properly. Now, my brother, on the other hand, is no debt, buy gold.
Which gold is down 76%, by the way.
And we'll talk about that later
Okay,
too.
we'll
But
talk about that.
but the point is, buy gold, no debt, blah blah blah, and hyperinflation, right? So he told me that the cost of wings, his cost, tripled. And not what he sells it to people, what he buys it for, tripled.
Yeah.
So then you ask me, well, why is Publix still the same price? What's really awesome about Publix, and you'll see maybe like McDonald's will have this, even though they're trash food, but the prices haven't changed too much for certain things, is because these companies buy these future options. And they have these contracts where they will buy chicken, guarantee the price for a future date. So they'll go to a large financial institution, what is his name? I forget his name. But this, so like they basically will buy an insurance policy to simplify it. It's a financial contract where they basically guarantee the price of the goods that they're buying to guarantee the stability of the price to the client, the consumer. So what you're going to see is a lot of restaurants haven't gone up, or a lot of the places that have not gone up yet. The reason is they're under contract to get it at a certain price.
Okay. Yep.
Those contractors are coming due. They're closing out. And even on TikTok, like onion producers, and I watch fucking weird stuff on TikTok, like onion producers and potato producers and their opinion on economics, right? So like they're talking about how like they have to sell it at this price.
Right.
Even though it costs them this price to produce it. But the second they're out of their contract, which is like a few more months, they're gonna have to go to make up what they lost
Yeah.
and to have their margin again.
Wow.
Because they can't work for free.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be coming. Hyperinflation for food as well. But the weird thing is, why is the government asking them to destroy 25% of their crop? Like, I understand that they have agreements with like Mexico and other countries that are producing crops as well, but those agreements need to go because our pricing was because they didn't want food prices to fall too low.
Mm-hmm.
But we have shortages and we have hyperinflation. So yeah, okay, we needed that for whatever in the past. Today that doesn't apply.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be going off of the same rules of, okay, we're just literally destroying 25% of the food on the farms. And if you're gonna do it, you might as well just give it away to the needy.
Yeah.
They're not gonna buy it anyway. Like
Yeah.
they just give it to them.
Give it away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give
So-
it away now. Okay, so you mentioned hyperinflation, inflation. I know that's like the hot button topic through our echo chamber of finance world.
Mhm.
And the CPI was announced to be 6.2%. So briefly, let's talk about what is hyperinflation and what does the CPI at 6.2% mean?
So there's inflation, right? So let's kind of define some things so we can have a point to go from.
Right.
So there's inflation, and inflation is basically the price of something going up, and normally it's based off of demand.
Right.
If demand increases, then you have the price going up. It's inflating. Hyperinflation usually is based off. It usually has to have a mix of that demand mixed with monetary policy, which their monetary policy right now is print, right? So they call it modern MMT, modern monetary policy, but it's I call it magic money tree because they just keep acting like money grows on trees. So hyperinflation is from demand and monetary policy. So it's because they keep printing is what's causing this. It's not that we're becoming richer.
Yeah.
It's because the dollar and the fiat currency is worth less.
Right.
So that's that. And I think we're going to go to stagflation. Is what I think what's going to end up happening, which is stagflation is increasing price of goods, but a reduction in the supply of the goods.
Right.
So people can get less stuff, and if you do get it, you're going to pay more for it, which is stagflation, which is not a benefit to the country. If we had a healthy economy,
Mm-hmm.
we would actually see deflation.
Mm-hmm.
So we would see the cost of phones, computers, housing go down,
Yeah.
not up.
Yeah. Or even
Because-
rent.
Huh? Rent's a different animal, right?
Okay.
Because that has many factors involved with it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because a location's rent can go up because of demand,
True.
because jobs are paying so well.
That's true.
But in the sense of, if you're talking about, like, say, a light bulb, you can have it produced somewhere else in the country that's cheaper and then bring it in.
Yeah.
But because your efficiencies of scale, your
Mhm.
technology is improving, you should actually have the cost of those things going down.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be actually deflationary for people, and they're gonna benefit from this
Yeah.
individually. So you actually have more money. That's why back in the 80s, you could work at, like, what was it, 70s, you could work at McDonald's
And buy a house.
and own a home,
Yeah.
right? So if today we match the inflation rate, the minimum wage would be about $50 to $60. That's what it would need to be. 50 to 60. You're making like $100,000 a year.
Okay. So the CPI is 6.2%.
So the CPI, which doesn't really make, is again like something that they just talk about, but it's really personally, because I'm really like the CPI is a basket of goods, and they, based off of this basket of goods, they determine the price, the cost of these goods going up, so they come out with the inflation rate. The issue with CPI is that they're not fully accounting for all variables, right? Like, they're not really accounting for the true inflation rate of rent,
Yeah.
right?
Or paying your electricity bill.
or electricity bill or
Are
cost
they-
of homes and
Gasoline, are they including that?
I don't think so. I gotta check. I didn't memorize exactly everything that's on it,
Yeah.
but the point is it's way higher than 6%.
Right.
It's just significantly higher than 6%.
Because
So,
aren't they measuring, and by they we mean who? The FBI? No. Who?
I forgot which group, but anyway, so
The
the
financial people of US. What's it called? When they measure it, don't they use something from the 80s to measure out what's going on now, like as their standard to look back to then calculate the CPI for today?
What's bad with this Freakonomics? I'm gonna call it Freakonomics because what they'll do is they'll take these data points and they'll try twisting things around
Mhm.
and to make it look a certain way to make people like feel a type of way.
Feel good, yeah.
Yeah, but the reality is they're not looking at like factors, like real factors, right? Like, okay, if the inflation is up and everyone is worth more and their wealth increased, but their nominal wages are down,
Mm-hmm.
meaning based off of even though wages went up, your wealth went up, the cost of everything went up, your wages are actually down
Yeah.
compared to how much everything went up.
Right.
So it's not it's like the thing is it really just hurts the middle and low class.
Yeah.
So when you're seeing Biden talk about doing this infrastructure bill and it's not going to cost anybody anything and whatever pays for itself, and they're talking about how they're helping the low income. The reality is they're not. They're like really hurting the low income. They're making it harder and harder for you to get to the middle class, and for
Yeah.
the middle class they're pushing them down.
Yeah.
And,
Creating more of that wealth gap.
the wealth gap. But the thing is, they call it the wealth gap, and I feel that it's like politicized and used in a way to manipulate people's thinking
That's true.
to say
I can
have
see
and
that.
have nots. But the
I can see
reality
that.
is the Democrats and the Republicans make decisions that are hurting all Americans.
Mhm.
And there is a group of people that I've spent my whole life learning this stuff. And where we can understand what they're doing, understand the repercussions, the true repercussions.
Mhm.
They can hide what they're doing for a while and make it like not look what is, and not show the true what the results actually going to happen.
Mhm.
But eventually, it'll come back
Right.
and it'll snap hard. It'll be, what did they say? They start slowly and then very fast.
Mhm.
So it slowly then ends up being very fast and it snaps back to reality.
Yeah.
So the reality is they're just making all Americans suffer.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to make themselves look good. You know, your brother said this thing. He said, anytime a politician in the Philippines wants to get elected or reelected, what they'll do is they'll go on the roads and they'll repave the top layer. But they don't affect the sides, and they don't actually fix it in the sense of ground up what's there and relay it properly. They'll just throw another layer on top, which is building on something that's unstable. And it makes it look like they did something.
Yeah.
But in reality, what they're doing is it's actually costing us money, and it feels like something's being done, but in reality, it's not. Nothing of quality and tangible is being done. Like this infrastructure overall is so much fat and so very actually dumb. Do we need infrastructure in this country? 100%, because we are way behind.
Yeah.
But where are you getting all these people to do this construction? We don't have a proper education system in this country. We don't have the people to do this work.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? We have a shorting in housing. We have 3 million housing units short in this country. So even if 1 million foreclosures happen, we're still 2 million short.
Right.
After 2008, a whole generation of people retired in the construction field. So they didn't, because there was no one who could buy a house. They couldn't get loans and so on.
Yeah.
So why would you build a house that's $1 million where you can buy $1 million house for like $400,000?
Yeah.
So in that time period, no new homes were being built, even though every year roughly 3% of the homes in this country become uninhabitable.
Mhm.
So in this process, No new homes were being built, even though the demand is truly there.
Yeah.
Why were they absorbed? No one could get debt, so they couldn't buy the homes. Now, this generation that was doing construction, the 55 to 65, decided to go and retire. Those people did not teach the next generation because we don't have an education system to teach them how to be a carpenter,
Yeah.
a plumber,
That's so
whatever.
true.
Who's teaching you? Your dad, your uncle, your friend's friend, your dad's
YouTube.
cousin. There was no YouTube, remember?
Oh yeah,
It
way
wasn't
back
like
then,
that.
yes.
Like they had some YouTube, but it was not like it is today.
Yeah.
Right? It's not this robust.
Yeah.
So now, in this aspect, we lost a generation of teachers to teach the next generation. So that's why there's such a high demand for electricians and plumbers and AC because they didn't produce enough.
Yeah.
So supply and demand,
Yeah.
right? So now in this situation, if we have so many skilled labor, we have a lot of labor available. We don't have much skilled labor.
True.
So if we don't have enough skilled labor, where are the people going to come from
To
that are going
build.
to do the infrastructure?
Yeah.
From the housing. So then what's going to happen with housing demand? Go even higher.
I see.
So because if your government's printing dummy money and it's like, we'll over, if you've been around, you'll see all these different projects that the government paid like $800 for a hammer. Right. So it's like,
Yeah.
if they're paying dummy money
Right.
for nothing, or sometimes they'll have, because of all these different laws, they'll have 8 people watch one guy shovel,
Yeah.
and they're each getting paid $40, $50, $100 an hour,
Yeah.
and one job's getting paid $150 because he's supervising the other 7 guys watching the one guy shovel. So it's like, okay, it's gonna be, they're not thinking it through. They need to be creating educational system that matches the jobs.
So with all of that being said, obviously there has to be a way for us to kind of hedge against inflation right now. So just one thing for the beginner, what can they do to hedge against inflation? What's a practical, tangible step as a beginner? Let's say you have your normal W-2, earner's wage, and you're just wanting to help out your family because you see, wow, inflation is so real. I do see the prices going up and the value of money going down. What can I do to fight against it right now?
Okay, so when I was making $8 to $11 an hour, and that's how much money I was making when I bought my first property. I wasn't making crazy money. I was making very minimum wage, right? And I was just scrapping it together. I mean, some jobs I took at $5 or $6 an hour. Just because I was like, all right, I'm not doing anything. Might as well do something for money. So what I would do is imagine what you're spending. Obviously, save money.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. But don't save money in a
money market account.
Not money market, but don't save money for the fact of saving money. Again, cash is trash, but you want to save cash. So
You should logo that. Cash is trash. We're gonna give away bumper stickers of cash is trash.
So yeah, but cash is trash. So you don't save cash just because you love cash.
Yeah.
You save cash because it's a liquidity and you just use
It's a tool.
It's a tool. So you can transfer it into something else,
Yes.
another asset. So if that's what it is, and you're just holding your money in that position until you can get to the point where you can afford to buy a property, what you would do
Yeah.
is the toilet paper thing. And people will literally buy one roll of toilet paper. I'm not joking. And each roll, they'll pay $2 for it. Not joking. And then by the time that big roll that you were paying $16 for, no kidding, they'll pay $48 for it. And if ignoring hyperinflation, which obviously is very important, you should not ignore it, but you can buy a roll, a big package, and sit on it.
Yeah.
If you buy eggs,
Yeah.
buy the 18 or 24 pack.
Yeah.
You're gonna eat it.
Yeah.
Things like that sound really
Basic. Yeah.
Okay, fill your gas tank all the way up,
Yeah.
not halfway,
Yeah.
because you're saving time and you now have time to do something else.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of things that you're like, wow, this is so dumb, it's so basic. But again, I had extremely limited amount of money and the ability to make more money. So what are you going to do? You're going to scrounge every dollar.
Yes.
Because if you're like, hey, if I buy a whole package, 16 for the toilet paper, compared to buying piece by piece, it's 48.
Yeah.
I'll, instead of holding the money in the savings account that's not paying me anything, I'm going to buy a whole package. And then at the same time, the inflation on this thing, it's going to be 10% higher every year. So
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
So and then the other thing is I'll look for sales.
Mhm.
So whenever I needed something, I'd buy it on a sale and I'll stock up. So
Yeah.
always stocking up.
Yeah.
Like right now, I have a bunch of stock of stuff that's not going to perish.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why not? Also, like really simple. I have an insurance agency. I see people paying their auto insurance month to month.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you pay 6 months in full, it's 10% discount.
Okay.
Where are you going to get a guaranteed 10% return?
Yeah.
Find one on the planet.
That's a good way to put it.
You're guaranteed. Money saved is money earned.
Yeah.
So you're guaranteeing a 10% return on your money.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you take that? Like, oh well, you know, what's like?
It's just like $30.
Yeah, the 30 okay, 30. Like people really don't get it. $30, 100 ways
Yeah.
is a lot.
Yeah.
And $3,000. You're like, well, whatever. It's only $3,000. It's only $3,000. You only made 27.
Yeah.
And after tax, your take home was like 22.
Yeah.
So what is that? That's 15%. You would be like so happy if you got a $3,000 raise and you're making 27.
Yeah.
So the point is also when you're doing a first time home buyer,
Yeah.
$300,000 property with 3.5% down, and you're most likely to be able to get down payment assistance, that's $10,500. So 3 years of you just making a tweak.
Yeah.
You're not giving anything up.
Yeah.
You're literally just tweaking the way you're doing something. And in 3 years, you're going to own a $300,000 house.
Yes.
Now, some people will be like, no, it's not possible. That's also mindset. So you have to also believe.
Yeah.
So those are the little things that literally at the bottom. And when you understand that concept, the rest is just added on.
Yeah.
When you understand, if you can't get these base concepts, I immediately realize that this person can't be helped. And again, it's not to be like rude.
It's just they're not
mean.
ready right now.
Yeah, because if they're like, nah, how am I gonna make 20 grand? This to show me a way I can make 20 grand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well these are the ways. Well, okay, I can't do any of those. I'm like, I know you can't do any of those. You don't have a skill.
Yeah.
Right? Like most people think I want a way to make easy money. The money isn't easy. The person that has a skill is so good it makes it to make them look easy.
Yes.
So it's not like is it hard to do certain things? No.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to build a skill up.
Yeah.
You know? So it's that's the mindset. Mindset's big. You gotta change that too.
Okay. And then just really quick for the intermediate advance, how can they hedge inflation?
So if you believe
You already have
companies,
intermediate advance would be people that do have a little, like have enough knowledge in investing and.
I'll give you an example. I have an accounting firm. I have a lot of clients that make 6 figures, 7 figures, and they make a lot of money. Right? Obviously, I'm not going to say that, but so for those type of people, their thinking is also off because. Again, the same idea you learn on this point, you apply it here, and it's just a common flow that you're going to get to this point. But if you never learn this,
makes sense.
You're not going to understand. You can't go from here to there and thinking without you following the track record. Like if you're like, why is Bitcoin worth anything? Well, if you don't understand that our money is not real, and it's a debt-based system, and that they basically it's in writing that they're going to inflate. Devalue the currency, they're going to inflate the amount of money in the system. If you don't understand that, and that they manipulate you using the dollar in the tax system, if you don't get that, you're not going to get why is Bitcoin so awesome.
Okay.
You won't get why is gold important.
Yeah.
You won't get it. It's just like weird. So, you should buy stocks. Oh, buying real estate's weird. Like you won't get it. But when you start understanding, whoa, this is what's happening, and these are problems. How do I resolve these problems? What could I do? There's nothing I can do about this. Well, no, there's something you can do. You can do this. You can do this. You can do that. Oh, wow, they never taught me this. Well, of course they're not going to teach you this because it's going to give you more weapons against them.
Yeah.
So why are they going to tell you how to not be easily manipulated.
Yeah. And some of those things for them would be,
So if your money is, you know,
if you're a W-2 earner.
if you're a middle,
Or even you're a small business owner.
medium to large, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about- One, if you know money is fake and it's being devaluated,
Mhm.
you should short it. If people thought Tesla stock's not worth anything, they think it should go down.
Mhm.
What do? They short it.
Yeah.
Because as the price goes down, they make money.
Yeah.
So if you think if Tesla stock's $1,000, you buy it, you short it. So that means you have the stock,
Mhm.
and I will. When I short the stock, what I do is I borrow her stock from her.
Mhm.
Hannah, can I borrow the stock? Sure, Pascal. I take the stock. I pay a fee to be able to do that. There's an intermediary. Then I sell it immediately.
Mhm.
A month goes by, I have to buy it back and give it back to her. And in that process, my hope and my plan is that it fell. So I'm buying it back at 600,
Mhm.
giving it her back her stock.
Yeah.
She's even. I paid a fee for this transaction, and I made that spread.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what shorting is. So since we know it's written, it's a fact that they're going to be the American dollar is being devaluated. It's going down.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you short it?
Yeah.
Because it's guaranteed it's going down, right?
Yeah.
So how do you short the American dollar?
You invest in assets.
You get a loan
Or you get a
and based in American dollar. So you get a mortgage.
Yeah.
A 3% mortgage with our inflation at 6%.
Yes.
That means you're making 3.2% on that loan.
Yes.
Ignore the real estate. The loan itself, you made that you won.
Mhm.
So you automatically won one way with
Mhm.
real estate by shorting the dollar.
Because that mortgage is at a fixed interest rate.
So a fixed interest rate, and you're paying interest
On an
is-
asset that's appreciating.
Yes, but you're paying interest that is less than the inflation rate.
Yes.
So
As inflation continues to go up, which
Yeah.
it just
keeps going up. Now again, back when I started, I got loans that were like 8% interest, but I knew the interest rate was roughly 3%. So I was like, okay, I'm really only paying 5%.
I see.
So you can keep that in mind that like it's not always negative like it is now, right?
Right.
This is not. It cannot be this way forever. It's unhealthy, right? The financial system, I look at it like a living organism. It's unhealthy for it to be that way, and the opportunity for something very bad to happen is extremely high under these conditions.
Makes sense.
So to move forward, you buy real estate, the asset goes up with inflation, and the loan itself is you win on the loan as well because you're shorting the dollar.
Right.
So your spread is going to be significant. And so again, I just bought some properties. They were like, oh, everything's too expensive. I bought them, put down 25%. All real estate prices went up 25%. 100% return on my money year one.
Yeah.
Like, and then I got these great interest rates.
Yeah.
So, it just makes it kind of easy to win.
Yeah.
People who own assets are going to win in hyperinflationary periods.
Yeah.
Or at least get hurt less.
Yeah.
Get hurt less.
And with that, one of the assets you mentioned was like Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the Bitcoiners out there, I know the all-time high today was at 69K. How do you feel about that? Are you bullish on Bitcoin?
I think it's definitely has a significant place for our future.
Yeah.
I see. Again, I can't tell you when. I can't predict the future. But do I see $1 million Bitcoin? 100%. Is it in 10 years from now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it would be probably 8 to 12 years between like 2 to 3 halvings from that.
Okay.
So it's just there. I mean, we're about to pass. I think it already passed silver's market cap.
Yep.
And so this is where I went wrong. In 2011, I was going to buy Bitcoin. I was going to buy $1,000 worth, but today it'd be worth $3 million. Instead, because I knew Bitcoin was functioning very similar like silver and gold, I bought silver instead. I was like, okay, it's going to function similarly. Silver is significant underpriced. This should have an extreme multiple increase. I underestimated the amount that the financial system and the government manipulate the gold and silver market. if there's true price discovery based off of like supply and demand, gold would be about $18,000 to $24,000 an ounce. It's only at like 2. Where in Bitcoin, you can't manipulate it, right? Like you can have certain times where you have some manipulation, but it's gonna bounce right back to where it should be. But they've been manipulating the silver market. Like silver should be like over 100 an ounce, right? If not 5. But they're manipulating on the papers market because what they're doing is they're fabricating the amount of silver available compared to what's actually receivable. So they're shorting it. You can't do that with Bitcoin.
Wait,
And-
repeat that for me. Are you saying the amount available to purchase versus receiving is uneven?
It is uneven. They're naked shorting silver and gold.
What's naked shorting?
They're shorting something that doesn't exist, which is really like to the point unethical.
Yeah.
So for example, like AMC, why they were so smart about like short squeezing AMC.
Yeah.
So for example, shorting is you buying okay, this is really like freaking sick. Like it's
Well, we already
it's
talked
sick.
about what shorting is. Is it the same concept?
Yeah, but it's even like it's like that on crack, right? It's like another level. So it's what's sick about the financial system because like it's awesome, but what's really also at the same time what's sick is like it can like people can manipulate it like hardcore. Like it's
People
becomes
as in who?
uneven. Like
The government?
the bankers.
The bankers.
The bankers, like the financial system, the
Yes.
people that are like that guy's effing me. When you're like, who? That person's effing me. You're talking about the bankers.
Yeah.
You're talking about the shadow banking system. You're talking about the people that are in charge of the government.
Okay.
So those people are the people that are effing you, right? And they're like, those are Democrats, they're Republicans. No. They're just making you mad at someone else that is not them.
Yeah.
So if you're mad at someone, it's probably not them. It's
Yeah.
actually people you don't even know exist.
Yeah.
So now, you know what shorting is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's
Silver.
just think about this.
Mm-hmm.
AMC, right? Naked shorting. Let's just make believe that there is 1,000 shares of AMC.
Mhm.
Okay? So there's 1,000 shares for AMC, and if you have true price discovery, and that's what's really wrong with our current system, is that we don't have true price discovery with the modern monetary theory. So price discovery means this. You put it up for sale on the stock market, and people will find out what people are willing to pay.
Okay.
Okay? So that's price discovery. So if it's fair,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no manipulation, the market will determine what it thinks is fair for this stock.
Makes sense.
That's price discovery, right? And I believe it. There is the market is if an unmanipulated market is accurate.
Yeah.
And it is so
The
there
free
is
market.
the free market does have true price discovery.
Right.
But we don't have a free market. So to the point. Now, shorting is this. I'm gonna borrow Hannah stock through a contract,
Mhm.
and I paid a fee.
Yes.
I'm borrowing your stock, and I'm selling it to the market.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't want to sell it,
Mhm.
and I have no cares of this company, but I'm an asshole. I'm George Soros, and you know what? I don't freaking like you. So, and all I care about is making money. So, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have this company create a contract so I can borrow Hannah stock, even though she never really even approved it, and I'm gonna sell it at the open market, and that's gonna cause more things for sale
Mm-hmm.
than there's buyers, because then you have the price going down.
Yeah.
Because as you sell, there's more things for sale.
Yeah.
There's more supply than demand.
Right.
It's gonna cause the price to go down.
So if I was to ask for like, hey, I want my silver now, is there a way to do that?
There's a story about that, and they tried to do that in 1980, and they try to have a run on it, and they try to do all that, and then they basically manipulated the system so much that they made those guys go bankrupt. So there was these guys that were trying to accumulate most of the silver, and force them to have true price discovery on silver. They shot up to $50 an ounce at that point, and now it's falling back down. It's still not like under 50, right? So it's like I think around like it floats between like 15 and 25
So when you want to get it, you can't receive it.
No, that's the thing. Now, this is even crazier. Now, let me go. Again, this gets even crazier than this, right?
Mhm.
So, now in this contract, they actually don't take your silver. They make believe. They make it up. So
Okay.
even though you have the silver in an accurate market, and if it was like real and functional, they would actually reduce the quantity because I took it from Hannah and I
Yes.
listed it for sale.
Right.
So you can't have two.
You took it from me as you borrowed,
I borrowed it.
knowing that you were still going to sell it, right?
Yeah.
I still
And I
agreed to
sell
that,
it immediately.
but knowing that I would still get it back.
And you have to give it back to me in a
But
month.
behind
Whatever the
my
price
back,
is.
you did something.
I sell it right away.
Right.
So, but then there should be 1-to-1,
Yes.
right? You had say you have 10 shares. I took your 10 shares. I sold it. You shouldn't have. The market should not show you have 10 shares.
I see what you mean.
So, and then I sold the 10 shares.
Yeah.
And then I'm supposed to buy it back and give it back to you. But it doesn't work that way. They fabricate these contracts to do this. So when they're doing that, it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me give you another point. They have so many short options in that's out there. It's 125% of the supply. So they're shorting more than what's even available to buy.
Is that what's going on with gold?
Gold is something similar.
Okay.
Right? So silver and gold, yes, something similar.
Okay.
Right. So so the point is, when they figured it out,
Yeah.
right? What they were doing. So normally the mainstream investor, he gets screwed. Because what happens is when they do that, the stock goes to zero.
Right.
I buy it back and I give it to you, the company's bankrupt. Because the company would go bankrupt because all of their loans
and
are
you borrowed
it.
It's not necessarily, I mean, you got your money from the sale, and for me who genuinely
I'll
owns
buy
it,
back
and you
for
borrowed
pennies.
it.
I pay back for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
I give you back the shares. Your stock is worthless now.
Yep.
Because that company, you gotta understand, a lot of their loans are based off of their stock price.
Yeah.
And they can't get more debt unless they have a good stock price.
Right.
Because so there's these issues. And if they want to sell shares, what are they going to sell? Pennies?
Yeah.
So what happened is these guys with AMC, they figured this out. That is 125%.
Yeah.
And what happens is, okay, they're like, all right, I'm going to have a short squeeze. Short squeeze means I sold it and I'm going to buy it back later at a lower price and pay you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you realize that I'm cheating the game.
Yeah.
That I'm manipulating the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to try to short squeeze me. You go to the market and you buy a lot. So in a month, it's not down.
It's up.
It's up.
Okay.
So I have to buy back. And I have to buy it now. It's up. Well, what's going to happen when he has to buy back?
Mm-hmm.
There is no supply and there's more demand. Parabolic increase. Because they have to keep buying.
Yeah.
And how are you going to buy more of something that you shorted more than there is in existence?
Yeah.
$1 trillion price. Like there's no end to what it could be, the cost of it, because you can't buy more than what's existing. If you have to buy back 125% of there's only 100.
Yeah.
How? You can't. So it's like that's where it's like a parabolic price increase. It's like it's sick to think of it. Like, but because again, like when you have like, so I took in high school, like somewhere right after high school, I took calculus 3 and differential equations, where you have like theoretical math.
Okay.
So you're taking and applying theoretical math to people's lives and their businesses and the manipulation. It's like, again, it's like really sick. And what happened is this, is they said, hey, I'm a banker. This is not fair. We're gonna lose all our money. So they had the government step in, and because the bank was gonna get screwed over, the government stepped in and said, no, we're gonna screw the people over. There were the chance the people were gonna win against. Finally, they had a fight that was gonna be fair. The government stepped in and said, no, we're gonna make it unfair again.
Wait, was this AMC or GameStop?
Both.
Both.
Both. So they're both the same concept. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it's sick, right? It's so cool. That's why I'm like so excited and
I
like,
thought you
passionate
meant
about it.
sick as in like bad.
It is bad, but it's sick.
It's
like
unethical.
It's sick, like unethical, but it's sick of like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like
Yes.
that you can do these things, and like when you start understanding how stuff
I
works.
see what you
this
mean
is-
now. Okay.
And now when it's sick, also be like, oh, F you. I'm gonna short squeeze you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make you pay for trying to destroy our lives
Yeah.
and destroy these companies.
Yeah.
So and
Knowledge is power.
yeah. So now so what's happening
Mm-hmm.
is that they keep on, because again, they don't have the money to go and fulfill.
Yes.
What's happening is, again, these are contracts.
Mhm.
What they're doing is they keep extending the contract
Yeah.
with the offerer because they charge a fee to sell these contracts. So the
Hmm.
offers are selling these contracts to renew the short.
As in silver.
You know, in GameStop and AMC.
Oh, I see.
To renew it.
Okay.
So they don't actualize the purchase and
Oh,
renew it.
Okay.
They're trading it out with a new contract. So they constantly are paying these fees.
Yeah.
So with the people, the holders,
Yeah.
hodlers,
Yeah.
right? So they're actually holding on. They're like, we're never gonna sell diamond hands because they're gonna say, I'm gonna outlast them
Yeah.
because eventually they're gonna have to pay.
Yeah.
Something is gonna come due, and they're gonna try to unwind their position. It's gonna be very hard,
Yeah.
and they're gonna have to pay. And I'm gonna see my crazy return.
That's awesome.
Right. So it is awesome, and I think it's awesome the fact that like that people get together and work together as a unity.
Yeah.
Right. Because we are having a very divided country, and we need to start working together.
Yeah.
It's just unhealthy that again I disagree with a lot of people about a lot of things,
Yes.
but it's not healthy. This level of disagreement globally.
Yeah.
It only leads to something very bad.
True that. People hearted that statement. We heart you back. Okay, so going now, continuing on with Bitcoin. I know last week you attended the Florida Bitcoin blockchain conference. What was one thing about it that got you excited?
It was sick. Like it was awesome. Like,
Sick is
good.
apparently his favorite word.
Yeah. It's like, it's so cool, right? Again, I'm a geek, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like
I will say this is true. So Pascal and I went to the same high school, and he's best friends with my brother. So I've known Pascal since he was in high school, and I was an 8th grader. And so Pascal, growing up in high school, he was that nerd, bro, and he even tutored me in math. Yes,
yeah.
I will say I needed a math tutor.
Mhm. Wait, Asian people don't need
Hey,
what?
that's a
You're not
thing.
born.
Don't
You're not born
say
with
that.
math. So like, I was definitely,
Yeah,
I was geeked out. So like everything.
which
that I
obviously it pays off. So
Yeah.
parents, if your kids are geeks, let them be geeks. If they want to learn coding at 5, do it.
do it. But it is good to have social skills.
Yes,
Very
of
important.
course. You
Most-
you weren't socially awkward, I will say.
I was
that.
very socially awkward, but
I don't think so.
I worked my way through it.
Oh, okay, there you go. There's hope.
I have my moments where I'm just like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Hannah, you go talk to
Yes.
Yeah, so, but what's it called? We also have a big problem where people are so into like, not socializing face to face. That skill
Yes.
set is like so necessary.
Yes.
It's going to be a highly paid skill set to have customer service skills, communication skills. It's going to be so high demand in the future.
I totally see that actually.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
even now, I'm like, I hire someone that's really smart, but they can't talk to people.
Mm.
No one cares how smart you are
Yeah.
unless you can talk to them, like, be able to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? So, what was cool?
exciting?
Exciting. One,
Cool.
the amount of money in brain power. Like, there's a massive amount of money in brain power into the crypto space.
Okay.
And you're not even going to see the benefits of it for like 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And they rode through the dip, and they're still riding through it now. In 5 years, they're like, most of the people are going to hit the job market by then. They're actually going to be working in the space.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot's happening now, and it's going to happen. But in 5 years, there's going to be so much brain power in the space, it's going to go even more.
Yeah.
So how exponential this market is going to be,
Yeah.
this is like, again, Kathy Woods was like saying that it's like,
You're jumping to my next question. But So what was the exciting thing is
the amount of aggressive 100x, 1000x growth that's coming.
so if you're not into crypto now, learn about it.
You're still ground level.
See, it's not too late.
Even though I bought a while ago,
Yes.
and I'm up significantly since
Yeah.
I bought, you're still not too late.
Yeah.
Like again, like I said, what did we say? I just said $1 million Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's coming, right? Again, I'm not telling you when.
When.
It's gonna happen. When is the question?
Right.
Is it in 8, 10 years, 15 years? I'm not sure. But again, if you're buying right now at like, what is it? It's
69,000. Yeah.
You know, there's very few things that you're like, oh, it's gonna go up 20 times.
Yeah.
Right? Like.
And for those of you guys who are not into Bitcoin, the book to really step into that space that's easy to understand and just very, I don't know, very knowledge and depth filled, but yet still eatable, I guess you could say, in information.
Digestible.
Digestible. See, I guess I needed an English tutor as well. Is the Bitcoin Standard. So.
Yes, very good book.
Okay.
And if you like the concept of money and you want to talk about money, read the book Layered Money.
Ooh, you didn't tell me about that book.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Sweet.
On a book study.
And our book club today, we're going to talk about. Okay, so, and I do an English accent just when I have fun. Don't get offended. Let's see here. Okay, so Kathy Woods.
Awesome.
She was there. Kathy Woods is from ARK Investments up in New York. Big, huge
Not
news.
anymore.
I don't know. The big, huge news was she moved her whole company investment. I don't know what's called.
Her firm, her company.
Her firm.
Yeah.
Down to St. Pete, Florida.
Yeah, we just did we raised $3 million to buy about $9 million worth of real estate in St. Pete, and her office is like right in the middle of all the properties we bought. So this is awesome. Like on top of the inflation, our multiples on our properties are just going through the roof. It's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna make, as I call it, dummy money.
But really quick, Kathy Woods. So she transferred her investment firm here from New York City to Big Apple. Why?
I mean,
what did she say?
Her company is a disruptive company. It is about, genomics, about cryptocurrency. It's about
what's genomics? Just real quick.
Gene therapy, genetic manipulation.
Oh, okay. Like stem cell research?
Yeah.
But in economics?
Down to the gene level. And you can actually there's a saying where one day we would like to catch cancer on stage 1.
Okay.
They're to the point now that they're catching cells before they even turn into cancer.
Nice.
So they're catching before you even have cancer. They know that this cell is manipulating.
Yeah.
And it's basically this is gonna be this.
Yeah.
So what did I say earlier? I said there's a natural thing you think of and you naturally can grow down a path.
Yes.
You're gonna get there, but if you're not here, you're not gonna get there at all.
Yeah.
Well, what they're doing is the same idea where I can see people with a certain mentality. I said these people are only gonna go this way because that mentality only breeds this, which breeds this, which breeds this. This same thing with the cancer, they're seeing it here, and they said, well, this thing happens and it manipulates this way.
Yeah.
It only leads to this, to cancer 1, 2, 3, stage 4 cancer, right?
Okay.
So they have that, right? So what they're doing is they're catching it at this level.
Wow.
And
so that's their R&D?
They're so she focuses big on that.
Okay.
And she's a believer, which is awesome.
Yes.
So at least I can tell, from what I can tell. Okay. So she said that St. Pete had the variables of a disruptive city where there is so much growth and energy and vibrance that it breeds the thinking that you need to be a disruptive company. New York doesn't have that anymore.
We should have bought our property in St. Pete in
Which
2019.
Oh yeah.
No, we were looking at homes, but at the time, there's that area in St. Pete where it's still growing, obviously. But you know how there's that downtown St. Pete area where it's hip and vibe and vibes real.
So it's called
that's where all the young millennials.
Well, we got all the properties.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we brought it in historic Old Northeast and we brought it in historic Old Southeast.
And for us, we were like, oh man, but it's like not as big square footage or whatever we were thinking. We're like, we're not gonna buy here, let's like, if we're gonna spend this much money, let's buy land or big places and stuff. But if it was an investment property, having that mindset of it's just only gonna appreciate.
Mhm.
So it's like, even though we think it's in expensive now, this was 2019, it definitely
Like tripled.
yeah,
Because if you think about it, she brought down
I missed it.
like 100 people that are six figures,
Yeah,
and then there's another Fortune 500 company that's based in New York that's
Yeah.
moving down to St. Pete, and they're renting 100,000 square foot office space. They have 200 employees, and they're all six figures.
yeah,
Excuse me. So when you're looking at six figures, what is that? Minimum 10,000 a month.
yeah,
That means you can easily afford $3,500 a month rent. So,
yeah,
and if the rents were like 800, where is it gonna go, right?
yeah,
So it's significant. So people are like, oh my god, it's the highest price it's ever been. Yeah, but it's still way undervalued. I'm
Mhm.
taking properties, I'm buying them at 800, which is the highest price it's ever been. I'm doing a remodel, and when I'm done, I know the value is gonna be $2 million. And people are like, wow, how do you what? Easy, it's the math. You calculate these numbers and the math comes to this.
Yeah.
And based off of how this profitability, it's worth this price.
Yeah.
So
And for you too, starting from you went like this, it's like you started learning this,
yeah,
and then the same rules apply technically, and the same concepts. So the same concepts apply. So now at a larger scale, you're able to still apply the same concepts and still get the same, outcome, I guess you could say, or desirable result.
yes,
Okay.
100%. Except you become more aggressive
Yeah.
in not in the sense aggressive in a bad way,
Yeah.
but in the sense of like you start pushing your own boundaries and comfort, and you be like, there's no way this could be true. How is this it's so crazy profitable? And you start realizing, okay, I am building a skill.
Yeah.
I am building this thing, right, that can be used and grow. So
Yeah.
don't focus on money, focus on what skills are you building, because you can easily tweak them, because they're like, how are you doing taxes, insurance, mortgages, and you're doing all this other stuff? I'm like, well, a lot of these skills are based later.
Yeah. Concepts.
That you, if you understand,
Yes.
you could just reapply them here and here.
Yeah.
Like it's not too far off.
Yeah.
So it's
And then, okay, so, and then also at that same conference, something historical happened. The Tampa mayor announced that she wanted to receive, I don't know how many paychecks or if it was overall her whole entire pay, I don't know. Maybe you could kind of expound on that, but she wanted to receive her paychecks in Bitcoin.
Yeah. So she said she wants to receive her pay in Bitcoin. The same day, New York mayor said that.
Yeah.
Same day, Miami mayor said that. So
Mhm.
a lot of people are making this this move forward
Mm-hmm.
to come to a Bitcoin standard, to come to adopting cryptocurrency into our
Well, I mean, what's
modern
to
society.
well, what's to say about that for us if we see politicians going that route?
Again, you gotta have to balance it where in the sense of one, a lot of them can just be saying it just to be popular.
Yeah.
So don't just automatically think they said this so they're cool and they're
Mhm.
good and they have the right thinking.
Yeah.
No, because at the same time, the
There's
mayor,
other policies that they have to.
yeah, like
yeah.
the mayor of Tampa was like, Bitcoin's purpose is to give you freedom. But then the Tampa mayor was like, mask mandates, can't leave your house, can't do this, can't do that. And in Tampa, it's very purple. Like it's red and blue, which I think is good. I think the country should be purple, right?
Yep.
Because we need balance.
Yeah.
So, but
We need each other.
yeah,
We need different minds to have different outcomes.
Yeah, different perspectives,
Yes.
so we can grow. So the thing is, so she's again, you gotta be considered like, are they really
Exactly.
So but what it is saying is, if they're trying to make people happy,
Yeah.
if they're trying to just say this because they want to be cool, that means there must be a big enough presence
Right.
that want to hear this.
Yep.
Which
That
means
they would adopt that.
They would adopt that.
Yeah.
They would come out and say something that might be considered unpopular.
Yeah.
To say something that makes the people happy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, going to say with getting paid in Bitcoin, my cousin
Mhm.
who works for that digital media company, she actually gets paid in ETH. So instead of like whatever amount of currency that, you know, she lives in. So it's like, what's the difference between Bitcoin and ETH?
So
Ethereum,
right? So there's this, in the sense, there's multiple things we can talk about. So really basic.
Yeah, basic.
Bitcoin is gold.
Okay.
It's a store of value.
Digital gold.
Digital gold. So it's with there's things that will come in the future where they're talking about making adjustments, and they've made some already to make it as more of a functional and you can transact in it.
Yeah, like the Lightning Network.
Like Lightning Network, yes.
I only know these things because my husband is a Bitcoiner. Okay.
So and
but read that book.
And with Bitcoin's it's proof of work, meaning the value comes from the work that they put out there, and that gives it its value, right? Because people aren't going to be doing this for free. It's costing them money. It costs them a lot of money to mine a Bitcoin, so so there's a value there. Where ETH is now going to proof of stake.
Oh, okay.
And so basically, I kind of don't like proof of stake as much if I'm trying to have a store of value.
Okay.
Because at the same time, you can have the people who have the most coin can also have the most voting rights. So, but again, ETH is more like a platform that you build other infrastructures on.
Yep.
So it has a more of like a function to it.
Yeah.
So there's that. But again, it's very high gas fees, and actually both. But again, with the Lightning Network, it kind of balances off the gas fees, where ETH really hasn't.
It really does have high gas fees.
It hasn't resolved it. What is she cashed out? How much?
She cashed out, I think, $3,500.
I thought it was less than that.
Oh,
It was like $1,700, and she spent $400 in fees.
I don't remember now.
Yeah, it was something like $1,700. It was almost 25% in gas fees.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, so it was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And gas fees are what?
Basically, transaction fees.
There you go. Transaction fees.
So again, in the crypto space, they have all these crazy terms, and it's not crazy.
We
but
should make a video on crazy
like,
crypto terms.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, how about we relate it to? So what I do is that a lot of people, what I do is I relate it to what's currently happening what we currently have in our financial system.
Okay.
For example, like staking. I'm going to stake it. I'm going to yield stake it. I'm going to yield farm.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, staking is setting up a CD.
What's a CD?
Certificate of deposit. So in a bank, you have a savings account, right? And the savings account will give you, let's just say, 0.25%. If you have a certificate of deposit, you say, hey, I'm going to lock up this money, this cash, in the certificate of deposit for 1 year, let's just say. And the bank will be like, okay, we'll give you 1%. So when you stake a coin, you say, I'm going to put it up for the market to use because it needs liquidity. And in turn, I get paid interest, right, for locking it up. So it's basically like a CD. You lock it up for a period of time, you get higher interest for it. Same idea. The bank has liquidity on the cash. It uses the cash and makes money on the cash. They pay you some money. You're staking your money. It's being used by the system. There's a financial gain in the system by you staking your coin.
And you still technically own the asset.
Yeah, because they're just borrowing it.
Okay.
And you get paid money for them to
Interest.
borrow your money.
Right.
Which is the interest. Now, yield farming. You're just getting paid interest to keep your money. Yield farming has like having a savings account.
Oh.
You're getting yield. What am I getting yield? I'm looking for yield. I'm looking for yield. Yield farming. Yield is what? A return on your money. So your yield farming is basically saying I have my money in a savings account.
In crypto.
In crypto.
That makes sense. So is that like what Coinbase is doing? Where they give you can basically borrow $1 million.
That's a loan.
Okay.
But
the collateral loan.
So most wallets are becoming like banks.
Okay.
Right? So I'm actually creating my own wallet. So yeah, you're basically just a loan against your Bitcoin.
Okay.
But now again, be careful, guys, because if you your loan is callable, so just make sure you're not borrowing too much against it, right? I probably wouldn't go more than 25% loan to value, right? So if you have, whatever, $10,000 in Bitcoin, I wouldn't borrow more than $2,500 at this point in time. Read the fine print, because if you borrow 50%, and God forbid we have a crazy market where it falls down 50%, you're gonna be called, right? They're gonna say, hey, you now owe, the amount you owe is the amount the price is of the coin, of the asset.
Yeah.
So you have to come up with another 20%, right? You have to come up with another. In that example, you went from 10 grand to 5 grand. You owe a loan of 5 grand. They might call you like, hey, you have to come up with another 2 grand now, or we're gonna sell your coins now.
Someone asked, can you stake/yield lose money?
Yes, because remember, when you're staking and yielding, you're getting paid interest, and you're getting paid interest in that same coin. So let's just make it simple. If you had $100,000 of Bitcoin,
Mhm.
you have $100,000 of Bitcoin, and let's just make believe you're getting 1% interest in your staking.
Mhm.
Now you can get more than that, but we're going to keep the math simple. In the year, you're going to pay $1,000 in interest,
Mhm.
which is way better than what a bank would pay.
Mhm.
But again, your reality is you probably get 4 to 6%. And that's without even staking. I think you get more. But anyway, the point is you get 1%.
That's like your crypto apps video on
100,000.
YouTube.
Yeah. So the point is $1,000 for $100,000
Mhm.
of money, 1% return. Now, can you lose money? The answer is yes, you can, because that doesn't mean the price of Bitcoin can't go down.
Mm-hmm.
So can you lose money in the sense that can someone steal it? No, right? As long as you
know where to keep your wallet.
Yeah, unless someone stole your wallet. But are you going to lose money because you staked it? No. Can you lose value in the currency? Yes. So.
Okay. And then so then last but not least, let's talk about just anything real estate and where you think the market is right now to where you think it's going to be in 2022 for those that are maybe now they're like, okay, I want to start saving more or investing more so that I could hedge against inflation, and with this money I'm going to cash out next year on some of my Bitcoin or whatever to purchase a real estate or invest in a real estate fund, or like where do you think real estate will be in 2022 considering everything going on right now with the CPI being at 6.2?
So it's really like so many variables.
Right.
Normally okay, so previously when things change, only certain factors change,
mm-hmm.
right? It's rare that so many factors change at one time.
Mm-hmm.
We're in one of those situations where like everything is moving. All things are moving. So you're like driving in a UFO while you're trying to shoot this other target that's moving at the same time. And it's multiple targets. So it's crazy. But one, if you mentioned about Bitcoin and trading Bitcoin to something else, another asset or whatever. One, people think that Bitcoin could have its drop December, January-ish. It might be pushed back even further, but I'm also leaning that it might be in December.
Yeah.
Because the taxes. A lot of people are afraid of what Biden's going to do with taxes the following year.
Oh.
So some people are looking to probably take their gains this year, realize them, take them. And then, because some people will bet on paying less than gamble paying more. And
just really quick, in like a 1 minute, can you just explain what are you talking about with Biden taxing unrealized gains?
So the tax for unrealized gains means, which is, I've never really heard it done ever in any country, which means, so unrealized gains means you bought a house or a stock or anything for $10 and now it's worth $20.
Mm-hmm.
And normally when you sell it, you realize the gains. And when you sell it, that point, you pay tax on that.
Yeah.
Taxing unrealized gains means they're going to charge you tax on something that you didn't sell.
But it just appreciated.
But just because it appreciated.
Like your house.
I don't think they're gonna do it for a single family homeowner property, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be more like investment properties, stocks, and crypto. So in that scenario,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? You're gonna give a tax credit for unrealized losses? And how often are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
It went up and went down. How many times am I gonna have to write this down, or put on my tax return? It's hard enough to every transaction that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, I gotta play this game. It's a crazy game. It's never been done before. So I really think he's just talking because it would be a war. If he did this, it would be legit. It would be next level. And then all the other countries would start questioning us and their confidence in our system. Remember, if we have a fiat currency, it's all about confidence. So if you remove the confidence in our country and our competency, we have a problem.
Yeah.
So regarding real estate. So anyway, that's what we can remember. But with real estate, I see that
in 2022, real estate,
we're gonna have probably there's a 25%. It's projected to have a 25% increase. I believe that we're gonna have a significant increase.
Okay.
Because there's just no supply. We just don't have supply. It's gonna take 2 years for these foreclosures to hit the market.
So there are foreclosures happening.
Yeah, it's gonna take about 2 years, and by the time it goes through this process to come out, it might not even be 1 million. So many people did forbearances and restructuring and loan modifications and private equity groups buying these properties. It might not even hit the market. So between that, and all these other factors, it's going to be higher.
Yeah.
Is what I'm seeing right now, unless we have a banking crisis. None of this applies.
Yeah.
If we have a banking crisis, we have a loan crisis. Now,
like in 2008 and in
you can't get loans, right? They constrict the amount of people that can get loans. If they reduce it in any way, if interest rates go up from, whatever it's at to 25%, 50% higher, basis points higher, it's not going to be a huge difference. We're still at record lows. But if it went up 1 to 2% in a short amount of time, then that would make a shock factor. So then it couldn't be effect. So otherwise, the variables that would affect real estate to have a significant downturn are not currently being shown. Are there things that are concerned? Rising interest rates, our monetary system, jobs, foreclosures. Those are all concerns.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all shaky because everything is shaky right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not showing signs that it's going to collapse. So it's still making me feel confident. So as long as I can buy, so for me, I'm buying the properties, I'm doing full remodels, so I don't have to worry about anything breaking in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So that's significant. And then I'm doing a refinance, fixing it so my payment does not change. Because if the price goes up and down, it won't matter to me if I'm planning to keep it for 10, 20, 30 years. My point is, do I think rents are going to go down? And almost never, it's super rare that rents go down. Rents usually go up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if people lose their houses, they still have to go live somewhere. So then there's more renters.
Back in the day, usually we like to see the market kind of self-correct. So stocks, usually there's a self-correct period. Obviously it's not happening. Is there something like that in real estate?
There is time, but most of the time, a real estate correction that doesn't involve banking crisis is 5%.
Okay.
Is a flat. It didn't go up. It's flat.
Okay.
That's really what you're seeing. You're not seeing 50% drop. That's not normal. That's extreme situation.
Okay.
Now again, not every market was even affected in 08.
Yeah.
There was markets that were not affected because of the jobs.
Yeah.
Remember, I have a saying it's called the strong hand. So you can have an area that's not New York City.
Mm-hmm.
You can have an area that's has a very strong hand. Housing prices didn't change much. The people that own it own there forever.
Yeah.
they're not selling.
Like in Pinellas County.
There's actually places in Pinellas County that are like that too.
Yeah.
Like certain sections, those people aren't selling. You can tell them, hey, housing fell 50%. Like, okay, I'm not selling.
Yeah.
Right? I'll pay you $1 million for your $700,000 house. Thank you. I'm not selling. It doesn't matter what you're giving me.
Yeah.
So it's funny because people are right now. We're so enamored with like dollars. Right? Like, oh, look at all these dollars I got. There's a lot of people in certain markets around the country and around the world that the fiat currency doesn't mean anything to them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not selling. So there's no concern of the price movement.
Yeah.
So there's stability. So I'm in areas where there's like medical jobs, there is like a lot of businesses, there's reason to come and travel, there's the sports industry, where I have multiple sources of high net worth individuals renting.
Yep.
So now some people are like, oh, but the price fell. I don't care. I'm buying a property that won't probably come up for sale again for another 20 or 30 years if I don't buy it now. So I don't care if someone says tomorrow the price is worthless. I'm talking about what is it worth in 10 years?
So that's that mindset. Yeah.
That mindset. Like, and I'm going to be renting it. And what's a rent worth? Okay, I can rent it. I can make cash flow. Actually, that's good for me because the market tanks. I'm bringing in good money.
Yeah.
Everybody else is freaking out. No, I'm still bringing in money. And my life doesn't be affected like that.
Yeah.
You know? So it's preparing in those fashions. So that manner.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'll tell people regarding like real estate. I don't really see anything right now. Now again, we started tapering this month, or they started tapering this month, meaning they started buying less.
Oh yeah, like Zillow.
No,
Zillow stopped buying.
Yeah, Zillow. That's what you're talking about is Zillow was buying houses and trying to flip them. They are the only people in the current real estate market that has lost money in the real estate business. They bought houses
with the Zestimate.
Then they were trying to remodel it and sell it. They can't sell it, and they've been selling them at a loss. And they're calling back the people that they bought them from and asking them will they buy it back for less than what they sold. They got it for.
So that's why they stopped buying properties.
Frankly, they were just very shitty at what they're doing. They thought they can replace the real estate agent. They thought they could replace the flipper.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's easy. We're gonna replace those guys. Look at those dummies. And these realtors don't do anything. And that flipper, he doesn't know anything. Whatever. You know, I watched Flipper Flop.
Yeah. For the Property Brothers.
Yeah. So they just failed.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that one.
So that's separate from what I was mentioning about.
Yeah. Where real estate is in 2022 is you think it's going to increase in 25%. That's the prediction, at least, that you're hearing in your echo chamber of real estate investing. And so to end this, because we did go over, we were also late, so we appreciate y'all's patience with us with our technical difficulties. But moving forward, for those that are interested in possibly doing rentals, Airbnbs, I know that's like a really thing, you know, so should they still study the market and buy now?
Always study the market.
Yes.
You always study your market. You want to know what's happening at all times.
Even when you physically don't have the money or something to put down on something, it's just still to collect
Money's
data.
Not real. Money's not real. You find a good deal, you bring it to me, I'll buy it. We'll become partners.
Did you hear that, guys? You heard that here.
So money is easy. This is not real. And the people that have a lot of it don't want it. They want to get rid of it. They want real stuff. So what do? You try to find stuff.
Yeah.
And it becomes very hard to find yield. So they're looking for good deals, yield. They're looking for properties. So if you can find a deal, lock it up. That's what a lot of these wholesalers are doing.
Yeah.
They lock up the contract and they flip the contract for $5 to $100K over what they locked it up for.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
But
Actually, know somebody where that's their side hustle is they're actually just a closer. for the wholesaler.
I think I know this.
So they go to the, to make the deal with whomever is selling this property, and they're not the wholesaler agent or investor themselves. They're just the person who closes the deal for that person, and they get a certain percentage, a certain cut.
Yeah, there's guys on like.
So if you're good at selling, there you go. And that's not even his full-time job. That's just his side hustle. So
yeah, there's people like literally that own large companies.
yeah.
And they have like this big call center,
Mhm.
and they have the people that are on the phone doing it, and
Oh,
they're doing the paperwork for the person,
wow.
and then they have a division that lists it for sale to sell,
Yeah.
and then they do all that stuff, and that salesperson that works the phone gets a
Yeah.
percentage off of the commission.
I see.
So you can have a
Yeah.
100-person team do that.
Yeah.
So not really my thing.
Yeah.
I want to own the real estate. I want to build wealth.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for another job,
Yeah.
business. I have enough right now.
Yeah.
So I would, if I found the right partner, I might do that business. But
Yeah.
it's just like finding good people is really hard right now.
Really?
Finding good deals is hard. Finding good people is hard. So right now, it's not like there's not jobs. There's a lot of jobs out there. It's just there's not enough people to fill them.
Gotcha. So in closing, we talked about real estate, we talked about crypto, we talked about inflation.
Taxes.
We didn't talk about tax. We talked a little bit about tax. A
Yes.
little bit. Our next one should be tax because Pascalio, you were like the guru of tax. So in closing, what do you want to just say about real estate? Go.
Good.
Study your market.
Study your market.
Don't be
Good.
afraid to buy now, even though prices are high.
Yeah.
As if it's
If you're planning to, you're not investing if you're planning to hold something like a super short term.
Mhm.
And you shouldn't be buying any piece of real estate really if you're planning to keep it for less than 5 years.
Mhm.
So
why?
because why
Because
would
there's
you
the
do that?
flippers.
Yeah, but that's a business.
Okay.
That's not an investment.
There you go.
Flipping is not investing. Flipping is a business.
So if
Right,
you like
I have-
doing that, and
I
you
have a
that,
flipping business
right?
where we buy a property, we do a full remodel
Yes.
through my construction company, and then we put it out.
Yeah.
But we do high-end ones.
Yes.
But that's a business. It's not investing. Now, if you're planning on buying a house, if you're investing, then you want to make sure that anything you're buying, you're going to plan to keep for 5 years.
Mhm.
One, the commissions and fees and costs and loans and title is going to eat up a lot of your margin.
Mhm.
So it's not truly, you should have that plan that if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to hold it for a while.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're really going to the
Business.
business side of things, and that's different. And
And that's
obviously-
okay. That's your thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your. I mean, you can do that as a business, and then
And then also
both.
invest in other stuff. Yeah.
But again, I'm not really targeting. I'm not talking to that market right now
Mhm.
because I feel like we're talking to the people who are like, I want to buy and rent the house.
Yeah.
And my
To that
fault.
person.
To that person, you shouldn't care. Because the reality is, you're going to be renting it out, and you're going to be collecting your money to rent. That's what you're looking for, is cash flow. The property's going to come back. If you're trying to time the market, you're going to be in 2015 saying, I'm not going to buy anything.
2015.
You're going to be in 2015 saying, I'm not going to buy anything because the prices are too high.
Oh,
Then
interesting.
16, then 17, then 18, then 19. Even in 19, I said the prices are too high,
Yeah.
based off of all these factors, and it would have tanked.
Yeah.
What happened is at the same time that the overnight banking was literally tanking,
Mhm.
and we were going to have a big financial problem.
Mhm.
COVID hit, and they pumped trillions of dollars,
Mhm.
which part of me feels like, isn't that convenient?
Mhm.
Isn't that convenient that they decided to pump trillions of dollars into this black hole that they never really figured out what the solution is, or the problem, the solution to the problem. So, it's to the point. It's like you're gonna buy and hold.
Yeah.
You're gonna make your money on cash flow. Like if you're saying I'm trying to,
Time the market.
yeah, because even when I found a good deal in 2018 and 19 and whatever, I'm still buying.
Yeah.
Even though I said, hey guys, be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful. But if you find a great deal in a great market,
Yeah.
go for it.
And like you said, the rule of thumb is usually rent continues to stay up.
Yeah, rent usually stays up, but
Okay.
don't have such a thin margin.
Yeah.
Again, find a good deal. So for me, it's like my rent. There's so much gap. I could lose 1 out of 4 tenants and still make money.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have that gap, and you need to have a gap. So you make sure you're making good money.
Yeah.
Don't buy it and break even. I've seen people buy properties and have to put money out of their own pocket to cover the paint expenses because the rent's not enough. Yeah, don't buy in New York. Don't buy in Chicago. Don't buy in Canada. Don't buy in California. It's buy where that makes sense.
Yeah.
Live where you want to live. Buy where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to pay rent. Good idea. Here's another idea. Buy a property somewhere else. Have those tenants pay rent, and then it's as if you consider the full picture.
Yeah.
It's as if you owned your own home, right?
Yeah.
It's the same. Now you're making up for the difference.
Right.
So, and you're in a market that's probably going to appreciate significantly compared to if you're living in these other markets I mentioned.
Yeah. And then, because we're at the end of the year, really quick, can you do a shout out on taxes?
Taxes are key, right? You need to find ways to save money on taxes because that's eating up your wealth. That's eating up your time. That's eating up your future. And you think, well, what's the big deal? I'm paying some taxes. Every dollar you're giving up today, you're giving up your multiplier effect. The same videos you're seeing and pictures you're seeing online are like, if you invested $200 a month for blah, 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 you'll have this many millions by the time you retire. That is equally as true as if you pay less tax. So the tax bill is not the end. You can find many ways to legally invest your money to not owe those taxes. And in addition to you not owing those taxes, you now have extra money to invest, which makes more money on top of itself.
Yeah.
So it's a never-ending cycle of profitability and financial growth.
And you did that with just earning $23,000 a year.
I've never paid more than $1,000 in income taxes in any year.
Mm-hmm.
Not again, this is all legal and ethical.
And it applies to everyone, no matter your income.
When I was a W-2 employee working at the bank, I was able to apply the concept at a very basic level.
Mm-hmm.
But then we grow on that, right? So now it's very big. Trump only paid $750 in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's he used every single tax rule possible.
That every single other person does.
That
knows or hires
that could.
someone who knows.
So again, Amazon paid nothing. You want to talk about a super liberal company? Amazon, Google, Apple.
But there's people there that don't like those companies for the fact that they didn't pay anything.
But the point is, they are a liberal company that is using the same rule. So they're talking about both sides of their mouth.
Yeah.
But the point is this: again, to knock into an argument. The Democrats and Republicans use the tax system to manipulate the citizens. They offer tax incentives to make people do something that they want done. That's it.
Yeah.
They're not giving anybody something for free.
Yep.
Right? They're doing something in exchange for these credits. And IRS did the research. One of the highest ROIs that the government makes on anything that they're doing is the tax credits, because the amount of the work and efficiency and result that they get from a tax credit that they offer,
Like
reduction,
investing in housing.
low-income housing.
Low-income.
There's a lot of credits in low-income housing.
Because the government doesn't want to be in the place doesn't want to be in the business of creating housing for others. So they incentivize those that can invest in housing to do so they don't have to have or create more jobs or use our taxes to provide that.
And they promise to keep these housing at a certain percentage of market.
Yeah.
So they build in a discount.
Mm.
So you get the credits for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the longest, most profitable offers for the government, in the sense of the amount that they've accomplished through these credits that would have cost them way more if they tried to do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually cheaper. I do not less.
Yeah.
Which is what we try to target in our own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Doing less and making more.
Yeah.
So they're all right, we're going to give a tax credit. We're going to end up doing less as a government, and we're going to get more
Out of it. From incentivizing our citizens.
Yes.
Yes.
To do something patriotic.
Yeah, which also benefits those that need housing.
Exactly. So again, so tax credits aren't bad.
Yeah.
Right? They got something out of it. The government got something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So That's basically what I do. Is I constantly find ways to invest in things that getting me credits, opening new businesses, offering jobs, credits, deductions, buying real estate, remodeling it, credits, deductions.
Making a property better. Yeah.
Yes, deductions.
And then also the clean energy.
Yeah, we also have a green energy fund, which basically pumps carbon back into the ground. It cleans the carbon dioxide, pumps carbon back in the ground, and it actually is very good for fracking compared to using water. So there's 3 ways you make money off of this machine. Super profitable, and you get crazy tax write-offs. $100,000 investment gets you $200,000 off of your taxes.
Yeah.
But that one's basically almost done. We almost have no space left in that deal.
Yeah.
So by the time this airs,
But there's things like that.
Yeah, there's things like that we offer. There's even
that anyone can find. It's just
no, you can't find that. There's only one person that sells that.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
guys.
So yeah, you can't get it. If you look for it, you can't get it.
But I'm saying investing in clean energy, that's it.
Yeah, but this doesn't mean it's going to be profitable. So again, whatever you invest in, study your market, understand what you're buying, what's available. I mean, and even with the real estate, you can get tons of tax credits investing with a real estate fund, the green energy fund, our crypto mining fund actually gets you tax credits as well.
Yeah.
So it's there's this out there, but if you focus on after tax return is what's really key. That's your true return.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope this was valuable to you. Thank you so much for spending time with us. This will be uploaded on his live on Instagram. So if you want to go back and listen as you're driving in rush hour traffic tomorrow, because maybe you missed something, feel free to do that and smash the like button. Leave us comments, any questions or concerns too. If you want us to expound more on something, maybe dive deeper or be more specific and spend one topic on something that you are really interested in. We want to hear about it because, like Pascal said at the beginning, he wants to make himself available to you guys just because it's honestly something that he probably wished he had himself.
And I did get a lot of that. Again, it wasn't this easy.
Yeah, it wasn't this easy.
I really had to drive and travel and do stuff for people and
Yes.
learn from them. So I feel grateful.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to give it back to.
That's awesome. All right, guys. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. And I will love it.
I'm tired. It's late.